The Jawa Babetta is generally considered a very reliable vehicle. Mine is a 1981 model and the model code is 207. To maintain its reliability and to make sure it won't make problems on me if I'm out in the field, I will clean the carburetor today. I will also show you how to properly do it without damaging anything. Little disclaimer beforehand, don't smoke, you may set your house on fire or yourself or your face or something like that. This is not on how to get the insides looking pretty and stuff. This is just how to get it working or to prevent it from getting too clogged up. This is an old engine and an old carburetor. There may be Soviet stuff inside it and it won't be a problem. Why is this even a thing to do? So the Jawa Babetta has a metal tank which is susceptible to rust. Mine is quite bad, so if you take a look in it, there is some rust. Most of it is deep rust and not coming off, but some particles tend to get out. Most of it is filtered by the petrol filter, but some tiny particles can get into the carburetor. So this may clog the main jet. So let's get started. At first, I will remove these two screws to remove this plastic piece. If you have loosened the screws, you can take this part out. Make sure not to destroy the ignition cable, because it is inside this part. Here you can see the carburetor. I will now remove this side panel, as well as the side panel on the other side. Make sure this is closed and then remove this screw holding the fuel line. Take 8mm and remove the two nuts holding the flange. If the stud comes out with it and you can't screw because of the ignition, you can loosen the ignition screws to get better access. Now you have very easy access and you may loosen it with your hand. Alright, one is out, now to the other side. I also got this one out. Press like if your previous owner has also smeared some shit onto this. You can now lift off the carburetor and it will look like this. You now have to remove those two screws on the top to remove the cable, so you can properly work on it. It may leak some fuel. Hold it before you screw out and then also hold it after the screws are out, because this part wants to get out because there's a spring inside. Slowly lift it and don't let the spring jump out. Just let it out slowly and be careful. Have the carburetor in your hands and this part stays on the gas cable. Make sure the needle is clean also. Just spray it down and it will be okay. Right, so let's take the carb, put it onto the desk. And now you may start to disassemble this shit. Lay all the parts out so you will remember it. I will start at the bottom and remove this plate. Take these two screws off. Before we get into the carburetor, you may want to spray it from the outside, if it is very dirty. I will now take off the 4 screws for the swimmer chamber. Now you can take the swimmer chamber and set it aside. Here we have the swimmer, which regulates the fuel. This is the main jet and this is the secondary jet. If you have a problem, this is the one to blame. This is probably clogged. It doesn't matter where you start if you clean everything. If you only want to solve the problem, here is it. I will take out the main jet. Just take a screwdriver to it. This is how it looks. And now I will take out the choke jet. Alright, the second jet is also out. Now I will take out the swimmer. To remove it, I will take some stick and get this one out. Alright, the swimmer is out, but I had to hammer it a little bit. Not too hard, obviously. I just took a very small drill and took the rubber hammer to it. Let's get to the actual cleaning. Take the brake clean and put the nozzle into the hole. Spray it out and also spray those holes out. After spraying it down a little bit, it may be ready. Now spray down the swimmer as well as the stick. Also spray down this cup and let it soak a little bit. Spray this part. Now you have to pay attention. Take the jet, put it onto the brake clean and then press it. After you've also done the main jet, you will now want to take pressurized air and blow it all down. If you want to, you can take a metal brush to get all the stuff that really sticks out. It isn't 100% necessary, especially if it is like this white stuff, because this won't dissolve in the gasoline anyway. I will just scrub it out a little bit. After you've blown it out, it will become much brighter and there shouldn't be any stuff on it if you grip into it. I've blown out all the parts using compressed air. I will now use the brake cleaner again to clean it one last time and then put it back together. If you see stuff like this that's solid and doesn't go away, it may be 1980s Soviet stuff stuck in it. It isn't a huge problem because usually this stuff doesn't clog your shit. If it was clogged, it was brown shit from the tank. Alright, I'm going to spray it down one last time. Alright, I will now start to assemble it again. I will take the swimmer and the little stick to put back the swimmer. Make sure that the small hook for the valve is also in place so that it activates if the swimmer is low. Now I will put in back the 2 jets. If the 2 jets are in, you can put the cover back on. Alright, after tightening the swimmer chamber screws, you can then take those 2 screws and put on the important plate which stops your engine from burning. If the plate is on, your carburetor is more or less ready. You can now start to reassemble it by putting back on the top with the throttle cable. Compress the spring with your fingers, then turn this properly to get it in. Make sure the thing for the choke isn't sticking out there so that it is behind this golden plate. Tighten the screws and then you can put the carburetor back in. To all of my Slav friends who are usually like bears and rip all of the screws out, just don't go too hard on it, okay? Now take the screw, put it in like that, and then you can screw it on to the carburetor. Then you can try to put the ignition back in. Tighten those 2 screws and then put on the side panel. After tightening this panel, you can go to the other side of the moped. Now you want to check for a fuel leak by turning on this switch. Just put the fuel valve to reserve. Wait a little bit. If you can see some fuel getting out of that, that would indicate that you have fucked your gasket. But it shouldn't be there because you were careful. Alright, mine isn't leaking at all. I was careful enough. If it is just leaking a little bit, it may not be too big of a problem because if you drive, the engine removes enough fuel of the chamber so that it isn't a problem and you won't leak it. You just have to remember to put this back onto 0, otherwise you will lose all your fuel in one night. So now let's put on the last cover. Now to the last step. You can put back the plastic, fit the spark wire and then put in the screws and tighten them. Alright, so the Jawa pros will ask me if I'm insane because I don't run the air cleaner, I just run it from there. That is because I don't have a cable for decompression and so I can kill the engine like that, so I suffocate it basically. Running no filter also helps because my crankshaft seal rings are completely fucked and if I run the cleaner it only goes 25 kilometers per hour. If I run it without them on a straight it goes like 45. Up a hill it only goes about 15 kilometers per hour, so I know the seals are completely messed up. Don't worry about it. I may have to make a video about it. Proof if it works. I will start it because I can't drive it outside because it is raining very hard. It is working! As you can see, the Jawa works again. I really want to drive it now, but it is raining. I hope this helped someone. Bye.